Yeah, Shabbat Shalom everyone. Back again with a new portion, a new recording concerning the PARASHA YITHRO, which goes from the book of Shemot, chapter 18:1 to 20:23. Let's speak about, of course, like the name says, YITHRO. Then to coming to Mount Sinai, the 10 utterances, the 10 words, and we're going to focus on some points for today. First of all, we want to see that the parasha is the name after the father-in-law of YITHRO, of Moshe, sorry, of Moshe. This is what the Bible says, that is very seldom that one parasha mentioned after the name of Goy, one who is not part of Israel. If you remember in the fourth parasha, the last chapter, which is chapter 17, we read about Amalek. And Amalek is the opposite of YITHRO. So YITHRO represents a Goy, one from the nation Ukraine, and acknowledge the Elohim of Israel. And Amalek represents the other side, the one who rejects the Elohim of Israel, which in a spiritual way represents the Yetzer Hara and the Yetzer Tov. Yetzer Hara is Amalek, and Yetzer Tov is represented here by YITHRO, who come to visit his son-in-law, Moshe, because he heard of the fame of what was going on in Mitzrayim. And we see the attitude of YITHRO, which is positive, which will influence Moshe to take advice, very interesting, take advice from his father-in-law, somebody who come from the nation. YITHRO was a Kohen in his own land. He was a Kohen in his own religion. Now, he comes to Moshe, and he has a very big statement, and he says, here are we really, let me put it in English, because I was talking with the French people. And he said here, so Moshe told his father-in-law all that Adonai had done to Pharaoh and to the Mitzrayim for Israel's sake. That's interesting, for Israel's sake, as well as all the travel that come upon them along the way, and how Adonai delivered them. YITHRO rejoiced for all the goodness that Adonai had shown to Israel, since he had delivered them out of the hand of Mitzrayim. YITHRO said, blessed be Adonai, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Mitzrayim, out of the hand of Pharaoh, has delivered the people from under the hand of the Mitzrayim. Now I know that Adonai is greater than all Elohim, since they have acted arrogantly against them. So we need to understand that in the context, because we know there are Elohims in the world which have no power. But for these people, like the people in Mitzrayim, we know that they worship other Elohim. And this is what we are here. We read in, for example, in Psalm 95:3. For Adonai is the great Elohim and the great King above all Elohim. You see? Nah. You see? Psalm 97:9. For you, Adonai, are Elyon, above all the earth. You are exalted far above all Elohim. Again. So, Psalm 135:5. For I have known that Adonai is great, and that our Elohim is above all Elohim. So, we see the nations who were around Israel had other Elohim, and we know they have no power. But for them, it was their Elohim, and they didn't know Elohim. But now we see the shift from YITHRO, who acknowledge Adonai is greater than all Elohim, since they had acted arrogantly against them. You see? So, and we say, then YITHRO, Moshe's father-in-law, presented the burnt offering and olah and offering to Elohim. Aaron also came along with all the elders of the Israel to eat bread with Moshe's father-in-law before Elohim. You see? Now we see that from the beginning, we see that it is possible for a goy, one from the nation, to bring an offering to the Elohim of Israel. This is very interesting, because if we know that, we will understand that what we read in the Brit Hadasha is nothing new. We see that already it is the will of Elohim for every man to come to him and to acknowledge that he alone is Elohim. We're going to see that in the chapter 20 again, what is very important to understand. But here we have a key about the way that later on Elohim will open the way for all the Goyim to come into the covenant through Yeshua. So, and we keep going. We're going to go in the chapter which is very important, in chapter 19. It is here written, in the 3rd month after Bnei Israel had gone out from the land of Mitzrayim, that same day they arrived in the wilderness of Sinai. They traveled from Rephidim, and he was in Mitzrayim, in Egypt, came into the wilderness of Sinai, set up camp in the wilderness. Israel camped there, right in front of the mountain. Moshe went up to Elohim, and Adonai called to him from the mountain, saying, Say this to the house of Jacob, and tell Bnei Israel. So now, Elohim, so Adonai, will inform Moshe what he has to do. And he said, You have seen what I did to the Mitzrayim, to the Egyptian, and how I carry you on eagle's wing and brought you to myself. Out of the term eagle's wing is a term which shows the majesty, the power of Elohim, because the eagle is a powerful bird, and we see that he is a very impressive when we see his action. Now, this term is really very interesting. You see, we look also in the book of Revelation, in chapter 12, verse 14, we say, But the woman was given 2 wings of the great eagle, so that she might fly away from the presence of the serpent into the wilderness. You see, a similar term to represent the power of Elohim, which care for his children. Back to the book of Shemot, chapter 19. Now, then if you listen closely to my voice and keep my covenant, then you will be my own treasure from among all people, for all the earth is mine. Now this verse is very important, as we can read, because we will see that I think it's Kepha who caught that again in the book of 1 Peter. He says, So as for you, you will be to me a kingdom of Kohanim. Remember what Kepha said? And a holy nation. These are the words which you are to speak to Bnei Israel. Now, if I go here, I will see that I find it before I go back here. Let's see. Let me see, and I will give you, I think it's chapter 2, and we read, yes, verse of chapter 2, 1 Peter 2, verse 9. But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for Elohim's own possession, so that you may proclaim the praise of the one who called you out of darkness into the marvelous light. Now he's quoting Hosea. Once you were not a people, but now you are Elohim's people. You were shown no mercy, but now you have been shown mercy. Again, he quotes Hosea. You see, this process is very important to understand, because now Elohim is opening a way to the children of Israel to become what he wants them to be, his children. And he keeps going and say, so Moshe went, called for the elders of the people and put before them all these words that Adonai had commanded him. Verse 8, all the people answered together and said, everything that Adonai has spoke we will do. Then Moshe reported the words of the people to Adonai. Adonai said to Moshe, I am about to come to you in a thick cloud, so that the people will hear when I speak with you and believe you forever. Then Moshe told the words of the people to Adonai. Adonai said to Moshe, go to the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow. Let them wash their clothing. Be ready for the third day, for on the third day Adonai will come down upon Mount Sinai in the sight of all people. Now, it's very important to understand here the vocabulary of this word, because he said here, Adonai said to Moshe, Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh, said to Moshe, go to the people, sanctify them today and tomorrow, let them wash their clothing. Yeah. If I go to the book of Revelation, in the chapter 7, you know the story in the chapter 7, beginning with the separation of the 12,000, 12 times 12,000, the 144,000. And then after that, we have to go to the text to see. He said, I will go back, and he said, so, just wait. Okay, we have the 144,000, and then after that we read Revelation 7:9. After these things I look, and behold, a vast multitude that no one could count, from every nation, all tribes and people and tongues, was standing before the throne and before the Lamb. They were clothed in white robe with palm branches in their hands, crying out with a loud voice, saying, salvation belongs to our Elohim, who sits on the throne, and to the Lamb. And all the messengers, the angels, were standing around the throne, along with the elder and the four living creatures, and they fell on their faces before the throne and worshipped Elohim, saying, Amen, blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might belong to our Elohim forever and ever. Amen. Then one of the elders answered, saying to me, who are these dressed in white robe? And where have they come from? I said to him, sir, you know. Then he said to me, these are the ones coming out from the great tribulation, that have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. You see, they have washed their robes, made them white in the blood of the Lamb. We pass from the natural to the spiritual. In the chapter 19 from the book of Shemot, in the PARASHA YITHRO, we read that the same way, in a natural way, Adonai said to Moshe, go to the people, sanctify them today and tomorrow, let them wash their clothing. That was the natural. In the natural way, they have to wash their clothing. Be ready for the third day, for on the third day, Adonai will come down upon Mount Sinai in the sight of all people. Now, I want to explain a bit about the third day. He said here, go to the people, sanctify them today and tomorrow. This is Shemot 19:10. And here we have to understand, if you go to the book of 1 Corinthians in chapter 15, Shaul is speaking about the spiritual, the natural and the spiritual. He explained that the natural comes first because Adam was of the earth, from the earth. But the second Adam, the last Adam, was the life-giving spirit. And this is where we have the difference. And for that, we need to understand that because now we have the natural, the children of Israel coming out from Mitzrayim, coming before Mount Sinai to receive the covenant, we come to Yeshua to receive the same covenant, which is Mount Sinai, but in a higher level, in a spiritual level, to understand what Elohim wants for us, to wash our clothing. To wash our clothes, what does it mean? I will explain. When we come to the Torah, we have a natural situation. The Torah deals with our flesh, give us a frame how to live. This is the side of Elohim. Elohim gives us the Torah as a way of life for every one of us, for all those who enter into the covenant. And we enter through the covenant, in the covenant, through Yeshua. Remember, he said himself, I am the way, I am the door for the sheep. So when we come to Yeshua, he brings us to the Torah. Now, what is when we are in the Torah, we will begin to learn how to behave ourselves. For that, you will see, if we go to the book of Acts, which is very important, and I will explain. In the book of Acts, when I go there, in chapter 15, I will read for you, and we see there was a contention between some Jews who discussed with Paul and Kepha, and said, with Paul and Barnabas, and say, unless you are circumcised after the manner of Moshe, you cannot be saved. So the discussion is about salvation. And they say, some say, you need to be circumcised. If you are not circumcised, you cannot be saved. Shaul, Paul, do not agree with that. But he didn't take on his own to take a decision. He said, okay, if it is so, we will discuss with those who are in charge in Jerusalem. We go there, we will discuss. And they say, okay, they go there and they speak. And the one who was in charge was, of course, Yohanan, who was the brother of our Adon Yeshua. And he said, after, in the verse 13 from the chapter 15, we read, after they finished speaking, Yaakov answered, brothers, listen to me. Shimon has described how Elohim first showed his concern by taking from the Goyim a people for his name. The word of the prophet agree, as it is written, after this I will return and rebuild the fallen tabernacle of David. I will rebuild its ruins and I will restore it. What is the tabernacle of David? The tent of David. That is the 12 tribes, right? You remember, after Shlomo, the kingdom was divided in two parts. The northern kingdom, the house of Israel, Ephraim, who was scattered in the four winds, and the house of Judah, which remained with Levi and Benjamin. So that the rest of humanity may seek after Adonai, namely all the going who are called by my name, says Adonai, who make the things. So it is absolutely necessary that the tent of David must be repaired, be restored, before the rest of humanity come in. This is what will happen when Mashiach returns. When Mashiach returns, he will restore the house of David, which is the house of Jacob, the 12 tribes, and then Israel will be the true light of the world. Not yet now. Now we have to deal with ourselves. But when Mashiach comes back, Israel will be the light of the world, because the Adon, the king of Israel, will be Yeshua. And we will have to do the work which we are preparing now for the coming future, maybe soon in our days. So now he says, so that the rest of humanity may seek Adonai, namely all the Goyim who are called by my name, says Adonai who make these things. Known from of old, it's not a new thing. Therefore, I just know to trouble those from among the Goyim who are turning to Elohim, and then he will give the condition for those who are coming from the Goyim, from the nations, into the covenant, he said, but to write to them to abstain from continuation of idols, idolatry in any form, from sexual immorality, that we know from the chapter 20, where it is written, do not commit adultery. But sexual immorality is very bright, because we can have also a spiritual sexual immorality when we turn to other Elohim. And from what is strangled and from blood. From blood is very important, because we have to understand what is the meaning. I come back to it. Verse 21, from Moshe, from ancient generation, has had in every city those who proclaim him, since he is read in all the assembly every Shabbat. You see, the Torah is read in every assembly during the Shabbat. And this is what we have to know. So now, when we come to the covenant through Yeshua, we see here that the first prerequisite are continuation of idols, sexual immorality in all its form, and from what is strangled, and from blood. Strangled, that is mean, is not be killed kosher, in the right way. And from blood, because the book of Vayikra, who we will read later, explain the life is in the blood. So we have really to take care of that it deals with our own nefesh, this means the own soul. And we will have time to speak about that, how we pollute our soul, this means the animal flesh. This is why we cannot eat the blood from animals, because our nefesh is made of 5 parts. And we have to understand the third part from the nefesh. We don't speak from the good, from the bazar, from the flesh. We speak for the spiritual man. The spiritual man, which is called the nefesh, is built from the ruach, the nefesh itself, the ruach, the neshama, which is a life given by Elohim, which is a spark of divininess, the raya and the yerida. So, and these are the channels used by Elohim to bring the light of Mashiach in us. And if we are unclean, in many ways, the light is diminished. We may have some light, but not the light. And the purpose is to bring this light, this full light. This will be the case when Mashiach comes back. Okay, so now for now we have to understand that this is the beginning. What is written in the chapter 15, 20 is just the beginning. Because he says, for Moshe from ancient generation has had in every city those who proclaim him, since he is read in all the assembly every Shabbat. It means from Shabbat to Shabbat, we learn about the Torah, how we have to behave, and how we have to be transformed. The Torah of Moshe is there to give us a guideline, the life, the way we live before Elohim, the way we keep the commandments, is to put this ourselves straight before Elohim. The Brit Hadasha, which has been called falsely the New Testament, is made for the inner man. The inner man, how I will repair the character traits in my life. In Hebrew it's the midot. And when we study the tree of life, we will understand how we can balance our character traits. So it's very important that every one of us, everyone, no man can speak himself free from that. We have to deal with our own character in order to be able to be the channel, the vessel that Elohim wants for us to receive the light, that Mashiach in us may grow and shine. This is what we have to wash. So washing the clothes in the book of Shemot is for us also to wash ourselves from all that entangle us, since we come from the world. We come from a system which is corrupted, with a Greek mindset, with a way that is not from Elohim. So all of us, we need to deal with ourselves, not with the neighbor. Not with my neighbor, I will deal with myself. I have to fix all what is not in accord with the life that Elohim wants for me. I have to start with myself first. And if I start with myself, step by step, I will remove the roots in me, which can be bitterness, envy, anger, jealousy. All what is negative must be repaired, But as long as I try to look in the other side, this means in my neighbor, to see what is wrong in his life, I will not come forward. Because the goal is to deal with myself, not, we have to deal with the self. The greatest enemy that we have is ourself. It's our own ego. That is how it is. The problem is there. The problem is not in my neighbor. The problem is not in my assembly. The problem is myself. And if every one of us learn how to deal with that, then we will come. We come to the point that Elohim wants us for us. So he say in the book of Shemot, he say, in the third day, and I will come back to the text, he say, in the third day, I will come down. He said, just wait. Yeah. Be ready for the third day, for on the third day, Adonai will come down upon Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people. Now it's very interesting, because the third day, we know that it has a lot of connection. First of all, we know that our Adon, Yeshua, was raised from the dead on the third day. That is one point which shows us the importance of the third day. But here, he goes much more, further. He goes, he say, on the third day, he say, I will come down upon Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people. Now if we look, Yeshua came for the first time almost 2,000 years ago. We have 2 days. 2 days, we are almost finished with the 2 days. And now we will enter the third day. The third day is the expectation of the return of Mashiach. So brothers and sisters, we have to prepare ourselves. The time is short. We have to prepare ourselves to be ready. We have to wash the clothes, the spiritual clothes. We have to remove the filth of our life, all what entangle us, and we can only wash ourselves, not others. We can be a help to others when we are already wash ourselves. I cannot help somebody if myself I have not gone through the process of washing. I have to go through the process first, then I will be able to help others to understand what is the purpose of our life. You know, the majority of us coming to the covenant through Yeshua come from Christianity. And Christianity never deals with the inner man, deals with a literal text and make doctrines, which are of course doctrines of man. We do not come from the Torah. We do not come from the teaching of the apostle, from Yeshua himself. No, they come from man. And this is what we have to let go. We have to let go everything and to start again to see, okay, what is going on here? I am my own enemy. My ego is my own enemy, because my ego looks for its own interest. I like this man, I don't like this one. Why? Elohim loves everyone. Remember, Yohanan 3:16, that is written, Adonai loved the world so much that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in me shall not perish but have eternal life. You see, Elohim loves his creation. And every human being on earth, every human being is love of Elohim. Yes, not every human being is doing the right things. Yes, not every human being is going the right way. Yes, not every human being is free. But when we go from the principle that Elohim loves his creation, every human being on earth is a Bene Adam. Is a Bene Adam. So he received, like you and me, the Neshama. The Neshama, which is the breath of life from Elohim, from above, which come down, is in every human being that makes the difference between the world of animals and ourselves. Animals have a ruach, animals have a nefesh, they live as animals. And we are compared to animals if we don't renew our life. If we don't restore our life, we are just like animals. Animals are made to live their life. The cat will hunt for mouses. The lion will look for prey. Every animal has its own ways of life. They don't disturb one another. You know, they are built in a perfect harmony. When you see a lion eating a zebra, but it contributes to the balance of the numbers of zebra in life, and so on and so on. You see, sometimes it seems cruel to us, but it's not cruel. It is the way it has been created. But for ourselves, we are animals. But we are special animals because we have also the neshama, which make us to be a spark of godliness, a spark of divine, a spark of the one and only kings. We are the spark, and we need to come back together as one. This is a prayer of Yeshua in Yohanan chapter 17. When he prayed to the Father, he said, I pray, oh Father, I pray that they may be one as we are one. That they may be one as we are one. What does it mean to be one? The word echad is not a compound unity, it's a unity, it's one. It appears the first time we see that in the Bereshit chapter 1 with the creation of the day, when he separated the darkness and the light. And he said, he separated the darkness from the light, and it was evening and it was morning, Yom Echad, day one. Not Yom Rishon. Rishon will be an ordinal number like we see for the second day, the third day, the 6 days. But no, he doesn't use Rishon, he uses Echad. This means here we have a message that tells us that there is a unity between darkness and light. In every one of us, there is darkness, which is called the evil inclination, the Yetzer Hara, and there is light, which is called the Yetzer Tov, the good inclination. They are together. We need to bring the balance. For that we have the Torah, and we have the Brit Hadasha. The Brit Hadasha will deal with our inner man. The Torah will give us the way of life and how we have to live to please Elohim. When Elohim say, do not, I have to do that. If when he say, do not eat blood, because it gives the reason, because blood is in the life, I don't have to eat blood. And we know, for example, that if you go in Europe, many nations will eat what we call bloodwurst, boudin. What is that? It's a blood from pigs, and it's cooked. That is totally pagan. You go in the Philippines, you have dugo, you know that very well. It is also the blood from animals. You see, but the Torah is don't eat. And he gives a reason, because life is in the blood. So if I eat blood, I eat the life from animals. So you cannot be surprised that people behave like animals, because they take part of their life, or the life of the animals. They behave like them. So this is why it says we have to wash ourselves. To wash ourselves in a spiritual way is to reject all what is pagan in order to be cleansed in ourselves and to go through the process of restoration, which is called in Hebrew tikkun. Everyone has his own tikkun to make, which at the end bring the tikkun of the earth. When Mashiach come back, the tikkun will be finished, because he is the one who will bring to restore everything and to elevate the earth as a new level. We will have a new level of spiritual life here on earth. The earth, all earth, even the environment will be changed. The people will be changed, because there will be no more the domination of the Yetzirah, the evil inclination. Don't seek for whatever you have heard in the story about the Antichrist coming or the things, you know. Just look at yourself first, and we should look everyone at ourselves to make this possible that Mashiach come back. So now, I want to touch another point here. We see that after that he said the shofar grew louder and louder, and Adonai came down into Mount Sinai to the top of the mountain. So we see that now the people are standing before Elohim, and we stand also spiritually before Elohim, and we have to trust Elohim. We have to trust. It is written in Habakkuk, it is written, the just shall live by his emunah. Emunah. The word emunah is faithfulness. Faithfulness to the one who called me. And this is what we learn through Yeshua, how we apply it. Then we go to the chapter 20. We receive the 10 words, the 10 utterances. And here what is interesting is the statement is very interesting, because in the 10 utterances we see that the first verse is, I am Adonai your Elohim, brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage. So it's Anochi Adonai Elohecha, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim. In Hebrew, when you speak, when you want to say I, most of the time you use Ani, Daniel, Ani, Jean, Anit. But here we have Anochi. Anochi is the long form of Ani. And Anochi, Adonai your Elohim. Adonai your Elohim. Adonai is here interchanged for Yod He Vav He, for the name of our Elohim. It is interchanged. So we see Anochi, Yod He Vav He, Elohecha. We have the two combined together. Yod He Vav He, which is to explain, it's in another video, because we have no time here to go to the transcendence of the name Yod He Vav He and Elohim. We have the two sides of the tree of life. So, in other words, to make it simple, this is not a commandment. This is a statement from the Creator, from Elohim himself. There is no choice, there is no way to go around. When we come to Yeshua, we have this statement in our life. Anochi Adonai Elohecha. I am Adonai, I am Yod He Vav He, your Elohim, who brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. In fact, when we come to Yeshua, Yeshua delivers us from our own Mitzrayim, from our own Egypt. Mitzrayim come from the word tsar, which means oppression. And oppression, what is the oppression? Is when we are confined in our own thought, in our own soul, in our own nefesh, when we are in the bondage of the system which surrounds us. The system that surrounds us, it doesn't matter if you are living in the States, if you are living in the Philippines, if you are living in Europe, wherever we live, we are in bondage. Yeshua tells us, you shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. In the moment, the truth. We know the truth. The truth is the Torah, as it is written in Psalm 119, verse 89, 142, and 150. We know the Torah is the truth. The commandment are settled in heaven forever. You see, these words must be in us, that we have no doubt. We have seen in the story of Amalek, in the previous parasha, that Amalek came when? When the children of Israel, after they struggle, they say, is Elohim among us or not? That's what the verse. And the verse that came just after says, Amalek came. So the sages of Israel found out that the word doubt in Hebrew is sufek, has the same gematria than Amalek. Doubt is an open door for the enemy. When we doubt, what does it mean? To doubt is lacking of emunah, lacking of trusting the one who has called us. You may say, oh yes, but you know I am struggling because I have not all what I need. Yes, I understand. I understand. But that's not the end of the story, because he promised that he will provide. When we start to cleanse our own house, more and more light enters into our life. When we cleanse the house, it is for us to receive more light, which means also that Elohim will go deeper and deeper in us. And we are sure of one, that no matter the situation, Elohim will be always with us. He will never leave us nor forsake us. That is a promise he did. And these words are established forever. So when you have a struggle, when we have a struggle, we have to confess this struggle. And we have to look at it. We have to scrutinize. We have to search. We have to understand why I'm struggling now. What is the purpose? It is what I am created in my own life. The struggle comes from myself. The struggle is what I believe to be real. This is my own reality. It's not the reality indeed. It is my own reality, what I build with my thought, with my belief, with all my being. And I have to correct that. How do I correct that? I correct with the Torah. I correct it with the Brit Hadasha, to understand that it will be like I change. If I renew my mind, if I restore my character traits, I will be able to see a new way. So, brother and sister, understand that everything starts with ourselves. The 10 words that we read here are for us the foundation of our emunah. But don't forget that these 10 words, from the 10 words we have, is divided in 2 parts. The first 5 are given as a relationship between Adonai's people and Adonai. The 5 others are given as a relationship between man and his fellow. It starts when we see, just wait, verse 12. Verse 12, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which Jehovah, your Elohim, which Adonai, your Elohim, is giving you. Do not murder, do not commit adultery, do not steal, do not bear false witness against your neighbor. Do not covet your neighbor's house, your neighbor's wife, his manservant, his ox, his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's. So you see, these commandments, these words are in the heart of every human being on earth. Every human being on earth. When I read the book of Romans, here, if I go to the book of Romans, and I read something very interesting, just me go to the place, just when, it's here. He said here in the chapter 2, he said, from the verse 12, for all who have sinned outside the Torah will also perish outside of Torah. And all who have sinned according to Torah will be judged by the Torah. For it is not the hearer of Torah who are righteous before Elohim, rather it is the doer of Torah who will be justified. For when Goyim, so nations who do not have the Torah, because the Torah is a covenant between the children of Israel and Elohim, do by nature the things of the Torah, they are a Torah to themselves, even though they do not have the Torah. They show that the work of the Torah is written in their heart. They show that the work of the Torah is written in their heart. Their conscience bearing witness, and their thoughts switching between accusing and defending them. On the day when Elohim judged the secret of man according to my good news, my Bezorah, through Mashiach Yeshua, you see, we see here that Paul explained us that he said that the work of the Torah is written in their heart. And indeed, we know that what is the Torah? Torah is not a system. Torah is not a commandment. That Torah is an instruction how to live. And we know that every human being on earth knows in his conscience that if I steal somebody which is not which do not belong to me, I do something wrong. You see? So we are under the Torah because we are still to my neighbors. It doesn't matter if I know the Torah or have not the Torah. The Torah is working. I'm doing something which Elohim forbid. And when I do that, I break the Torah. And what we read in Yohanan, in 1 Yohanan, we read, sin is the breaking of the Torah. You see, so I sin. You see, every human being. Does anybody do not know that when he kills, he's doing something evil? Yes, every human being knows that. You see, so everyone judge himself by the Torah, which is a proof of the Torah written in the heart of every man on earth. It is a shift that came with Yeshua. When Yeshua came at the resurrection, at this resurrection, the world changed and came into a new dimension of the spiritual way, which will be a preparation of restoration of tikkun for every human being. First to Israel, second for the nations. First for Israel until Mashiach come back, then for the nation when Israel will be restored and be the light of the world. So brothers and sisters, we have to judge ourselves, and we know that we have been judged already through Yeshua, our Adon, because it is written that all our past sin have been forgiven us. We came from pagans, we come into the covenant through Yeshua, all our past sin have been forgiven. Now we are commanded to live a righteous life, to love one another. Remember, Yeshua said to his disciples, by your love, they will know that you are my disciple. Not by your knowledge, not by what you speak, but by your love. So let us love one another sincerely out of a pure heart, not with resentment, not with evil thoughts, but to consider other better than ourselves. And when we do that, we glorify our Father in heaven, we glorify Yeshua, and we live a righteous life. So this is what I have for you today to share. I hope you enjoyed, and we see you next time. For those in the east, I say Shavua Tov. For those in the west, for many I say Shabbat Shalom. See you next time, Elohim's willing. So be blessed, and I say bye-bye for now. Thank you all. Hallelujah.